Hi guys, it's Charlotte, and in today's video I'm going to be talking all about my university course. I study politics and philosophy at the University of Sheffield, and I'm currently in my first year in the middle of my second term. In this video I'm going to be talking all about my experience with the course, how I decided to do the course, what unis I picked for the course, my experience with the course so far, and all about my modules. So if you don't know what politics and philosophy is, it's essentially a dual honours degree. In a dual honours degree you can either have a major and a minor, or you can have two equally balanced subjects. In my course, my subjects are equally balanced, so I have 50% philosophy, 50% politics. So originally I actually wanted to study law and Spanish. That was what I always had in mind when I was at school, probably from about year 9, and I really wanted to go to Oxford and study that. Obviously I'm at Sheffield now, that didn't work out. Oxford just wasn't really the place for me in the end, and I didn't end up applying there. I also changed my mind on law and decided that I wanted to go into politics. For my A-levels I did politics, English literature, Spanish and musical theatre. I also did my EPQ, and whilst doing my politics A-level I decided that I wanted to do politics at university because I just loved it so much and I was really passionate about it. Initially I was thinking politics and international relations, however I'm not really a huge fan of international relations and I decided it wasn't really for me. So I looked into other options when I went around university open days and things. When I was looking around Bristol University I was speaking to a student who was a second year politics and philosophy student, and at that point I kind of had it in my head that I was interested in politics and philosophy. However, this kind of like really secured that I actually did want to do that degree. So I was having a chat with this girl who was a second year student, and she said the philosophy course made her think about politics in such a different way. It made her have kind of an upper edge on the other politics students because she had this like deeper level of understanding, and that kind of really made me decide that I wanted to do politics and philosophy. So I applied to 5 universities to do politics and philosophy. I applied to the University of Leeds, the University of Manchester, the University of Sheffield, the University of Bristol and Durham. I was offered a place on the politics and philosophy course at all of them with slightly different offers each place. I decided that Manchester was my favourite of all of the universities. I put Manchester as my first choice and Sheffield as my insurance. And obviously, as you can tell, I'm now at Sheffield, so my results day didn't exactly go to plan. So on results day we had the dreaded COVID year. Our teachers predicted grades and then our grades were actually lowered, so I ended up missing my offer for Manchester, but luckily Sheffield still accepted me onto the course that I wanted to do. I just want to talk quickly about the modules that I'm doing. For some reason I can't think of them off the top of my head, so I've just got a little notes section where I've written them all down. So I'll talk about what I did in first term, and then I'll speak about what I've done in second term and my plans for second year. So one thing that I did forget to say was that all of my modules, except from the compulsory politics one, I did choose myself in September before I started my course, and I was given an option of all the different modules, and these are the ones that I chose, not all the modules that are available. At Sheffield we have a compulsory politics module in every year, and in first year the compulsory politics module was called Analysing Politics. This was basically all about how the British political system works, analysing political concepts and that kind of thing. It wasn't my favourite module, but it was kind of covering very similar topics to A-level politics. I studied a module called Introduction to Western Political Thought, which was a political philosophy course about political philosophers from kind of I think it was like the 1600s and onwards, and I found that a really interesting module. We studied lots of political philosophers such as John Locke, and yeah, I did really enjoy that module. Obviously only an introduction to Western political thought one, so it didn't go into huge amounts of detail. That's my 2 politics modules for first term. And then my philosophy module for first term was called Reason and Argument. This is a kind of philosophy that I'm not really sure what it's entirely called, but it's all about I can't say a lot of philosophy words. Epistemology, I'll put it on the screen, you know what I'm trying to say. The study of knowledge essentially, and it was all about how we reason, how we create and structure arguments, and it was quite useful. I think I'm going to take the knowledge that I learned from that on with me for the rest of my philosophy degrey, so I'm glad that I did it. However, it wasn't super duper interesting. There wasn't a lot of like mind-provoking questions or anything like that. It was literally just kind of maths, basic formulas of how we write and reason. And in second term, which is what I'm currently doing at the minute, I've got one politics module, and that is British politics. I studied different events that happened in the history of British politics, such as Margaret Thatcher, 9/11, Tony Blair's cabinet. I think that we'll be studying Brexit and the 2010 election with the Lib Dem coalition. So that's just all about kind of political events that have happened, and personally I really love that module. That is the kind of politics that I love. Then for philosophy, I actually have 3 philosophy modules this term, because in first term one of my modules got moved to second term because one of my lecturers was ill, I think, so I've just had to do that one this term. I'm doing mind, brain and personal identity, which is all about philosophy of the mind and how we determine personal identity, how we determine who is a person, and if one person can be 2 people at once, and all sorts of these like weird mind-boggling questions. So it's quite a difficult module to get your head around if you've never studied philosophy before, but personally I am really enjoying it so far. And then I'm doing knowledge, justification and doubt, which is very similar to reason and argument. It's kind of a continuation of things that we learned from that module. And then my favourite philosophy module, which is matters of life and death. It's kind of self-explanatory. It's about matters of life and death. If death really is that bad, kind of who deserves to die, talking about issues like abortion, animal rights, this kind of idea of this thing called the survival lottery that we're doing at the minute, and it's all just very interesting, a little bit deep, not really the best for a Monday afternoon, but I found it an interesting module and it's really engaging. So I'm going to let you guys know the modules that I'm aiming to pick for next year. However, this might change as I'm not really sure about the timetabling of them all, so sometimes you can only pick certain modules if they're on in certain semesters. Like you can't just pick all of your politics modules in one semester, they have to be spread across 2. My plans so far are there's a compulsory module called political analysis, research design and data analysis, and I'm not looking forward to this one because data analysis is really not my thing. I'm not a mathsy person. Data and all that kind of thing just doesn't scream exciting to me, but I think it will be an important module to kind of let me know that that kind of thing is not for me and not really what I want to do in the future, or it might sway my mind and make me decide that I actually really enjoy it. A module called political theory in practice that I really want to do, that sounds really interesting to me. And then another political module called human rights, power and politics, because human rights, kind of activism, that kind of thing is something that's really important to me and something that I want to learn more about, so I think that module will be really interesting. And for philosophy, there's a module called feminism, which is pretty self-explanatory. It's about feminism and I'm huge on feminism and I just love reading about it, writing about it, talking about it, and any more that I can learn on it I am really eager to do so I think that module will be absolutely perfect for me. Then there's a module called political philosophy, which is kind of amazing, like the perfect crossover for me, doing a politics and philosophy degree. Political philosophy is one of my favourite things. It's something that I really enjoy reading and learning about, so I think that module will be great. And philosophy of the mind, which is kind of a continuation of things that we've learned in the mind, brain and personal identity module. So yeah, that's kind of my plan so far. It might change, it might end up a little bit different, but that's what I'm thinking so far. I'm going to speak a little bit about how first year is laid out, how it's assessed, how it's taught, that kind of thing. Obviously this year is a little bit different because we've had entirely online teaching. I had 1 hour of face-to-face teaching in first term, and then it got cancelled for a few weeks, and then I decided to move home from uni for a couple of months because there was no point me being here. So my teaching has basically entirely been online. So in first term I did have very little contact hours. That is something I've noticed about my course. I'm not sure whether it's just Sheffield in particular, whether it's a thing with this course at every single university. I found that my teaching time is very small. For example, politics, which is the worst culprit for this, we have for each module 1 lecture and 1 seminar and 1 independent task every 2 weeks. So the independent task is something that you do in your own time. It's like a piece of work. It might be like an article review, a little bit of writing, a podcast type thing, and you submit it and it just gets like general feedback as a year group. A lecture is a 1 hour, in our case, kind of presentation where a lecturer will speak through a topic with you, and then a seminar is a smaller group where you discuss things from the lecture, from the reading that you've been doing. For politics, once every 2 weeks in small groups of about 10 people. I think with politics the case is that the politics department at Sheffield has been cut down by quite a bit, and I think they used to have this little teaching. I'm not sure if it's going to change next year after the whole COVID situation improves or not, but for now we have like a very small amount of contact hours, which personally is not great for me because I'm someone who thrives on routine and having a lot to do and staying busy. So I do find it very difficult to kind of stay on track with my work, and kind of easy to forget that I've got things to do when I don't have a lot of it to do, if that makes any sense. Philosophy is a little bit different. We do have quite a a bit more work. However, compared to some other courses, it's not like a huge amount. So for my philosophy module, for example, my Matters of Life and Death module, I have a Monday lecture, I have a Tuesday lecture, which are both 1 hour lectures on different things, and then I have a seminar either on Thursday or Friday every week, and it kind of changes every other week. And then we'll discuss kind of the reading or what we learned from the lectures and that kind of thing. There are no independent tasks for philosophy, it's mostly just seminar work and the lectures. And in terms of assessment, I have had 1 exam and I think I've had 6 essays so far, so my work is mostly submitted by essays. Again, our essays have been cut down because of COVID. Most of the essays that we've had set have been either 1,000 or 1,250 words, which obviously is not a lot to write an essay in. Usually they would be 2,000 to 2,500 words, some of them even upwards of 4,000 words, but this year we have only had like 1,000, 1,250 word essays. And then for my philosophy module, reason and argument, we did have an exam, which was an online exam that was open for a week. It was open book, and we just had to answer a selection of multiple choice questions and then do this big like 50-mark question at the end, which was like reconstructing this whole argument with everything that we'd learned from the module so far. One of the reasons that I did pick this course is because I'm just not a big fan of exams. I don't really like them. I like writing essays, that's what I'm good at, that's what I enjoy doing, and obviously this course offers that a lot, so that is absolutely brilliant for me. So yeah, overall I am enjoying my degree so far. It's quite different from what I thought it was going to be like, mostly because I can't go into uni. I haven't experienced that real kind of uni experience that I kind of was so excited to go to uni for. I think my course has worked well online. Obviously it's not a course where you need to go into a lab or do any practical work or anything like that. It does work online with discussions and things. It's just hard to discuss and see people, and I'm so excited for when I can finally go into a seminar group and actually see the other people on my course and speak to them. Overall, I think the standard of teaching at Sheffield is very good. There is just not a lot of it. I'm not sure if that's a COVID thing or if that's the uni in general thing. I'll obviously keep you guys updated on how I find that, because I don't really want to speak on it on a COVID year because I don't think that reflects the standard of the university in general. However, I think in terms of the COVID teaching, it has been slightly disappointing, and I'm not sure if it was necessarily worth the £9,500 that I'm spending on this degree. Another thing that I would say definitely I think to take into consideration is that I did not study philosophy at A-level or GCSE, and that I studied politics at A-level. And I think studying politics at A-level has given me a bit of an upper hand. I kind of understand what we're talking about a lot more. I don't have to go out of my way to research things, and I definitely have a lot more background knowledge on the subject. Whereas philosophy, I do have to spend quite a bit of time doing like extra reading on topics and things, and they'll mention certain philosophers and I'm like, I have no idea who that person is. Like, I'll have heard their name briefly mentioned when people are talking about general philosophy, but I have to go and do a little bit more research in my own time. However, I don't really mind that. I find that quite enjoyable and I like the independence of it. So I wouldn't say you necessarily have to pick the A-level beforehand, but I think it does kind of help if the degree you're going into kind of follows the A-level that you've done. I think especially if you're looking to do an essay-based subject at university, pick essay-based A-levels, as this will help your writing style develop so much. However, please keep in mind that university essays are very, very different to A-level essays, and if you write your university essays like you write your A-level essays, they're not going to be very happy with you. Also, another thing to note is that there is a lot of reading that goes along with this course. Every single week I have at least 4 pieces of compulsory reading, as well as 16 additional pieces of reading that I want to do. So that is a lot of hours of reading. It's usually about 40 pages from a journal or something. Sometimes they will set you an entire book to read. If you're not super big on reading and writing, this course is not for you. In terms of my plans in the future, I'm planning on going on a year abroad in my 3rd year, which will just give me an extra year abroad, so that in my 3rd year, rather than finishing my degree, I'm going to be going to a different country. I'm currently planning on Canada, however it's all very subject to change. I might not end up going, I might end up going to a different country, all those kinds of things. Year abroad I know is offered with Sheffield, and I think it was offered with Manchester as well. However, it does change from university to university. Definitely check that on the university's website if that's something that you are interested in and you are looking to apply for one of these courses. And in terms of jobs, I have absolutely no idea what job I'm going to go into. I'm hoping that I'll get some kind of work experience in the next few years. It'll kind of lead me into the direction of what I want to do. I also am really considering doing a master's after I finish university. Not currently sure where that's going to be. I think I'm probably going to go down to London and apply to a London school to do that master's, probably something in politics. However, that is also subject to change. I could walk straight into a job, I could do something completely different, I could do another degree. Like, I literally have no idea what my plans are after university, and I don't think in first year you really have to worry too much about it. So yeah, I hope that you guys really enjoyed this video, and I hope that it helped if you are looking to pick politics and philosophy or considering it as an option for university. If you have any more questions, please comment them down below or DM me on Instagram. All of my social medias will be linked down in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you really enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys very soon. Goodbye.